Finally getting around to making this video 518, the beginning of High Plains Deception, at least how I call it. A few chases that I went on at the time, this one was the closest that I had ever done. And so pretty early on, I was able to find dominant supercell of the day. And it was about northeast of Amarillo. Very quickly, very impressive. A lot of the footage that I have is going to be time-lapsed. It'll really demonstrate a lot of the beautiful structure. Because not to spoil anything, but unfortunately, this thing never put a tornado on the ground officially. Another tornado warning right for this area. Let's check radar scoping a little bit to see what it's looking like. But as you can see here and later on throughout the video, it was a sight to behold and gave plenty of very engaging teases as to what looked like was going to be a tornado at several different times. You can see right there the very beautiful long inflow band curling back around to reveal this amazing structure. And truly, I mean, this is still, even a few chases later, one of the best structure days, if not the best structure day that I've been able to chase. And here I ran across some other storm chasers, of course. This was a pretty popular storm, pretty popular chase that happened on 518. Was able to meet some guys from out of state. A couple people who had been chasing just the week prior on 511 in central Oklahoma. And obviously in the background of me having my time-lapsed conversations, you can see the main event, which is, well, the storm itself. That supercell that continues to get more wind chiseled structure to it. And if you look onto the left side, which represents a more southwest kind of view, that left side you can see something of a second storm interacting with this one right here, developing its own mesocyclone, changing the dynamics of the environment and what we were seeing in front of us. And around this point, back here on the closer mesocyclone, you can see a lot of scud being picked up very quickly and an amazing wall cloud dropping very, very close to the ground. And obviously by this time, everybody decided it's time to pack up. Maybe something over there. Unfortunately, as I would see, nothing ended up coming from that wall cloud. And I hope this thing produces. So, you can't see how much of a mess the back of my car is. If I decide to post any of this video, find somewhere to piss. It's a recurring theme of my chasing videos. Yeah, as you heard me say right there, definitely a theme of my chasing videos. For some reason, I always have to say on camera that I have to take a piss. But you know what? If you're staying hydrated, drinking a lot of caffeine, you're really engaged on these chases, it tends to happen. Right here at this point is a great time lapse demonstrating the closest that we got, or among the closest that we got to a tornado on 518 in Amarillo. You saw that funnel a little bit ago. Here's a still shot of it, dangling, getting halfway between the sky and the deck. And it was quite a tease to see this in person. It's quite amazing, too. Obviously, this is time-lapsed, but even in person, in real time, it still looked quite fast. And just give you a little taste of what that real-time speed looked like. Here's me getting a little bit of personal shots just for the safekeeping on the iPad in case for some reason my phone happened to not be able to turn them over. Luckily, after all this time, and part of the reason why it took me so long to make this video is because the data management was a bit difficult to manage.
To a paved road. I'm going to try to take it because I don't want to be on gravel. Look how close we are.
Right here was a beautiful view of the storm continuing to move forward and continuing to put down funnel clouds that were amazing teases, but unfortunately, never any defined tornadoes. Like ominous appendages reaching out towards the ground. It really seemed like this thing was going to put down a tornado. And on this time lapse, you'll end up seeing what I think was probably the closest that we actually did get to having a tornado this day. Here's an unrefined view of it, and here's a really edited version to kind of give more clarity to the edges and contrast. You can see that's the closest I think we got to a tornado on 5/18 in Amarillo. And this shot was taken maybe in the range of 20 minutes before the eventual tornado warning that ended up being given for this storm as it approached Panhandle after some time of not being tornado warned following its track north of Amarillo. Far from the first time that I had heard tornado sirens ever, but that one really stuck out to me. Just the way that it came on, and it held there. And that's one of the tornado warnings I received. I go back to time-lapsing. This is when we're heading out north from Panhandle, Texas. Not the Texas Panhandle, but the town named Panhandle in Texas that I didn't even know about until the week that I went chasing there. Anyways, it was at this point that I had a hard time deciding if I wanted to go north and follow some of the other more experienced chasers. But what I decided to do was take a right and head east away from the circulation to try to give myself some better awareness of what was going on. And it produced these images. Tell you what, I love this kind of photography now. Nighttime chasing, cloud to cloud lightning, giving the only view of the storm that we can get once sunset passes. This was my first time doing nighttime chasing, actually. After the wild chase and the learning experience that I had on 5/11, I felt more ready to take on the challenge that nighttime chasing is. I am going to die of a heart attack.
That's gonna be my cause of death.
The storm grew upscale and looked to be bowing around this point, which led to its speed increasing significantly, and instead of trying to outrun it, I decided to go ahead and shelter.
The northern edge isn't just going east, it's now having a pretty significant northwards track. So even though it was south of us, and if it was going just east, it would pass south. With what it's doing now, it's going to pass probably right over us, if not grow right over us. The rain has gotten very heavy in the past few minutes. Me and this cop are sheltering.
And as you can see here, this is a little bit after the last view. Now, there are many, many great photos of structure that I got that day. Here's just one example of a really, really memorable photo that I was able to snap of the supercell north of Amarillo on 518. The first chase on the series of High Plains Deception in late May.